Well, good evening, ladies and gentlemen. This is Al Zuccaro. I'm the publisher of BocaWatch, and I am the interviewer in the BocaWatch video segment. Tonight we have Sid Dinerstein. Sid is a longtime political voice in Palm Beach County. He's former head of the Republican Executive Committee, and for about a 10-year period of time, if I remember, 10 years. And he is now an active champion to defeat the sales tax initiative, which is being brought forward on the November 8th referendum to increase our sales tax by 1 penny. And I'm here, and I thank you very much for coming tonight so we can talk about that.
Good. Thank you for inviting me.
You're welcome. The last time we were in one another's company was at the Boca West meeting. And
yes.
I thought that they treated you completely disrespectful. They
were some of the rudest people you'd ever meet in your life.
No, I agree.
Yes.
At any rate, at that meeting, you talked specifically and in depth about the lack of merit the 1 cent sales tax increase is. I'm going to just ask an open-ended question. What's your position? And
well,
why
my position
vote against it?
Is that I'm against it. But you know, there's bad public policy and bad public policy. This is beyond awful. This is public policy because they think they can do it. So the way that everybody knows is this is a 17% increase in our sales tax from 6% to 7%. It's one of those interesting things because they're counting on nobody knowing that it's a 17% increase. You know, and I get people all the time say, no, it's a 1% increase. I say, no. If it was a 1% increase, then if you spend $100 and now you have a $6 tax, then your tax next time with a 1% increase would be $6.06. But it's not. It's $7. $6, $7, 17%. The interesting thing is they're counting, the school board in bed with the county commission is assuming that all the people who went to the Palm Beach County schools cannot figure out 7th grade math, because if they could never defeat this. How do I know that? Because the literature that it put out, the full presentation aside from the handout, and everything they say about this calls it a penny tax.
Right.
They have not used the word 17% anywhere until I spoke at the meeting the other night, and then the third person they had who spoke against me, a Democrat, actually got up and he said, well, you know, Sid is right. This is a 17% increase. The point is, if they went out and said, don't worry, we got great work to do and it's only going to be a 17% increase in your sales tax, they wouldn't get 20% of the vote.
What is the phrase they're using? Is it 1 cent, 1 penny, 1 cent, or
1 penny, 1 county?
1 penny, 1 county. The literature that I've seen is completely disingenuous. It is misleading. The rules for this is the county's supposed to put out facts. They put only out their facts, one side of their facts.
Yes, and even worse than that is the referendum item, the actual ballot item that people will look at on November 8th, and the sample ballot, of course, never mentions the 17% increase.
Well, that's true.
Okay.
They don't want people.
So that meant that some group fell asleep when that language was proposed, because that should have been in front of a judge. I mean, this is a clear intent not to inform the voters, and I took the county to task for their lack of transparency, because that's clearly what this is. The other thing about it, though, is so the county wants $1.3 billion. The schools want $1.3 billion, and we'll get to the extra $600 million in a minute or two if we have time, that they don't talk about, that they're taking right now. And the $1.3 billion for the county is what they call infrastructure. Everybody calls it infrastructure because infrastructure is kind of chic, particularly on the left these days, plus we know that the country has infrastructure needs. So they say infrastructure. Remember when President Obama got elected and they wanted to take $800 billion away from people? They said, and it was called stimulus, shovel ready. Okay, same stuff. So here's what I can tell you about their infrastructure, $1.3 billion. At the end of the 10 years, when somebody says to anybody, okay, we just did the $1.3 billion of infrastructure, what did we get? Nobody will know the answer because you're not getting anything. Now, they are spending the money, so yes, they are going to mow the parks and change some of the light bulbs up in the lights where the kids play, and of course these are things that should happen, but you don't have to have a special $3 billion tax increase to do it. You're not going to have things you would want, like the sawgrass coming through to Boca, something that should have happened 30 years ago. State Route 7 going up to North Lake, something that should be happening right now. Maybe another bridge over the Intercoastal somewhere. You're not getting any of that. You're not getting reduced traffic. You're not getting any of the things you'd want to spend $1 billion for.
Let me jump in here.
Go ahead.
You've got a ton of stuff.
Yeah, I could do an hour on
Yes,
this.
you could easily. The school board says it's going to build or refurbish schools. Most of what the county says it's going to do and what the school board says it's going to do seem to me to be things that haven't been done out of normal ad valorem tax revenues that they've received over the years. So now they want to supplement it. Their argument is the downturn caused them not, but they have had tax increases every year because they never go to rollback, including a tax increase today.
As bad as the downturn was, they never lowered taxes for any of those years. The state did, and then those on the left went after the governor for having lowered taxes and spending during the down years. But of course, that's why today Florida is about the healthiest state in the country, because we're the only state in the whole country who during the down years did neither increase borrowing or increase taxes. All 49 other states did at least one, and most of them did too. So here we are sitting pretty, which does get us into the whole school thing. People complain in Palm Beach County because we are what's called a donor county, meaning more county goes from us to the state than from the state to us. But the answer is because that's the way the school board wants it. So they come in front of people and they say, isn't this terrible? And they go back home to all their school board members and they say, this is just great. We have everybody where we want them. Why is that? This is an interesting take you won't get from anybody else, but it's fascinating. Charter schools are free.
Yes.
This is a phenomenal thing that will not be discussed publicly. But I did it that night in Boca, and the CFO of the school boards was one of the speakers, and he's sitting there, and the man couldn't say anything because somebody finally told the truth. Charter schools are free. What does that mean? Obviously, nothing is free. What it means is the state pays 100% of the cost. So think about this. If you took a kid who wanted to go to a charter school, meaning poor, and saying, please let me escape from these awful schools where all they do is discipline kids all day long, okay? And you put him or her in a charter school, boom, $15,000 just got transferred from our ad valorem taxes to the state. And for those of us who don't want to pick on the state, let me just say this. They run surpluses every year. They can handle this. We have 19,000 kids in charter schools in this county. That means $300 million a year is paid by the state that would be paid for us if the school board actually had their way and we didn't have any charter schools.
Okay, but I need to interrupt. Just
I'm
running out of time. Because I want to be a little parochial, talk about the impact of the tax on the community of Boca Raton.
Well, I can only tell you this, told to me by a sitting councilman. It will suck $300 million out of the city of Boca Raton.
And nothing to
And of course you're not getting anything. You're doing it all yourself. Okay, that's number one. You know, I can't do it as quickly as I need to do it. The reason, well, not the reason, when they went to do this as a sales tax increase, meaning the county, you can't do a sales tax increase without including the cities. You can't just say, we're going to raise the sales taxes and the county keep it. You have to share it by law. Well, none of the cities asked for it. It's very important you understand. It wasn't like the cities came to the county and said, oh my God, could you please, we'll do a tax with you guys because we have this problem and this problem. Just the opposite. Cities like Boca, where we are, cities like Palm Beach Gardens, where I live, both of those city councils said, we don't want it. We don't want it. We don't want to increase the taxes on our citizens. We do our own taxes. We do our own building. You know that Boca does its own building. God bless you guys. And we'll take care of our own ball fields and our own local prison if we have one, and so on and so forth. But the majority of the population in the city said they do want it. Why? To them, it's free money.
Yep.
So as recently as 2 or 3 days ago in the Post, you could read that the city of West Palm Beach, the biggest of those cities, was now sitting down to do a list. Why? Because they didn't have a list. There is nothing that anybody wants or needs. This is the new county administrator's way of sucking $3 billion out of this county, which can't do anybody any good.
And that's where we have to cut it.
Yeah, and at the end of the day, we're not going to wind up better for it. Nobody's going to know where the money went.
So in case anybody in the audience doesn't know where Sid stands, it's vote no for the proposition of raising the taxes.
And if you don't know how to find me, it's siddinerstein@yahoo.com. If you send me an email, I'll send you the 1,000-page document that the Post wouldn't print.
1,000-word document.
1,000-word, yeah. At the Post wouldn't print. They said, well, we only do 500 words. I said, I'll do it in 2 days. They said, no, thank you. So,
thank you very much for coming.
my pleasure.
This gentleman,
thank
folks,
the audience.
can talk forever on the
I
subject.
could do this.
And, but I thank you very much for being here. We'll be right back, folks.